Hello and welcome to Theatre Reviews with Paul Severn. I'm here at the Watermill Theatre in Newbury to see The King's Speech. One of the best things about where I live is that I'm 20 minutes away from the Watermill in Newbury, which was named the stage's Theatre of the Year. The venue is quite a miracle, really. It's got a tiny stage and it no longer receives an Arts Council grant, yet it consistently puts on excellent shows and occasionally an absolute banger, like The King's Speech. Keep watching and I'll tell you why, if you live anywhere near Newbury, you must go see it. But first, please like, comment and subscribe to this channel. One of the challenges of mounting a play like The King's Speech is that you, as an audience, know what's going to happen. If you're not familiar with with British history pre-World War II, then you've probably seen the film. And this means the drama is not in what's going to happen, but how it happens. The King's Speech was originally written as a play, even though it was first produced as a film. And you can easily imagine when you watch the screen version why it succeeds so well on stage. Most of the action takes place in small rooms with 2 or 3 people. And by the time we get to Westminster Abbey, we're so absorbed in what's happening, we don't even think about the missing grandeur. Well, I didn't anyway. The triumph of David Seidler's script, and he also wrote the Oscar-winning screenplay, is in the portrayal of 2 men from very different backgrounds who form a bond. One is a member of the highest family in the land, the other a commoner, and a colonial commoner at that. Prince Albert, as the future King Edward VIII's brother, is being forced onto centre stage, to use a theatrical metaphor, but he's terrified of public speaking because he has a stammer. Lionel Logue is an Australian who's made a career as an outlier in the profession of speech therapy, although he has ambitions to be an actor, just as the Prince is learning he too must be an actor. At first the Prince is stiff and tetchy, not to mention sceptical of the whole process. He's played by Peter Sandys-Clarke, who's every bit as good as his predecessors in the role, Colin Firth in the movie and Charles Edwards on stage. We feel his frustration, his panic and the gradual thawing of his frigid persona. He communicates this so well that you're at times on the edge of your seat, wondering if he'll get out a particular word, and at others almost tearful when, even momentarily, he does manage to overcome his affliction. Oh, and as an aside, I was glad that his accent was more that of a modern aristocrat than the plum in the mouth that they deployed back in the 1930s. The relationship between the 2 blossoms partly because of the Prince's desperation to be cured, but as much because of Lionel's less majesty. He treats the future king as an ordinary person, calls him Bertie, and thus builds friendship and trust. Arthur Hughes, with a believable Australian accent, is an extraordinarily good actor. And here he brings to the role an ability to look both indifferent and caring at the same time, using a bend of the head, an intense look and a cheeky smile. Another reason that they bond is that both are flawed. They're sensitive men who were bullied by their fathers and consider themselves failures. There's a particularly moving scene when Lionel cries over this in the arms of his wife. So, the success of the treatment would represent redemption for both of them. Director Emma Butler uses the stage very well, with characters entering from the back of the auditorium as if from the world outside, the would-be puppet master leaders appearing high up at the back of the stage, and the Prince himself moving right to the front when he speaks to the people. So you can see the deer in the headlights look in his eyes. The play falls down a little in the use of the other characters. With the exception of the wives, they're there primarily to provide historical context, and we do need to know that King Edward VIII wanted to marry a divorced woman and that this threatened a constitutional crisis. And if we were in any doubt about whether this was fair, we're also told he was a Nazi sympathiser. And we need to be informed that there was a lack of confidence among the elite about Prince Albert becoming King George VI, just before the war, because he would need to be able to speak to the nation in order to reassure us in our darkest hour. The supporting cast provide us with fine caricatures, but inevitably there's no depth to them, and no matter how it's dressed up, these scenes do feel like we're being given a history lesson. Jim Kitson is Churchill, Stephen Ryman Hughes plays Edward VIII and Prime Minister Baldwin, and Christopher Naylor is an excellent, snobbish, waspish Archbishop of Canterbury. Oh, and that reminds me that there are a great many funny lines in this play, including the one where Churchill says to the Archbishop, "You may have been elected by God, but he only has one vote." The wives are important for the support they give, but also because they are the people their spouses can speak to about their intimate feelings. Amira Challenger is an amusing Elizabeth, and Rosa Hesmond-Halsch brings out the frustration and compassion felt by Lionel's wife Myrtle. In this play, we find the monarchy at a turning point. The rise of radio, as well as a less subservient press, make it vital that the future king speaks confidently. He'll no longer be a remote figure. Instead, he'll be expected to talk directly to his people in their own homes. And he'll be seen by them as a human being. So, the sound, designed by Robin Collier, plays a vital part in the production, from the gramophone Lionel uses to help Bertie, to the microphone that looms in front of the royal, to the thumping of his heart over the speakers. Bretta Gareka is the latest designer challenged with fitting a quart of set into the pint pot of the Watermill stage, and she does a good job. The floor's kept clear of all but essential furniture, but at the back there are 3 spiralling wooden structures which start as staircases and break up into separate planks as they rise, symbolising the perilously disconnected structure of Prince Albert's brain. It's an absorbing and uplifting production in which the script, the 2 principal actors, and the intimate space of the Watermill combine to provide generous measures of tension and emotion. I give The King's Speech 4 stars. I hope you found this review interesting and useful, and if you did, please like, comment and subscribe to this channel, then you'll be the first to know about my future reviews. You can also read my reviews at Theatre.Reviews, where you'll also find my roundups of other critics' reviews of the latest shows. And you can follow me on Instagram, Facebook, Mastodon and Threads, but not X. Thank you for watching.